call upon the resilience, strength, and support of all the women who have walked before me. With them by my side, I never walk alone. Hello everyone, Deanna Deacon here, the founder and chief soul activator of Soulful Sisterhood, and I am joined by a good friend of mine, Dani, who has been working tireless hours for this past week trying to help keep the community of 100 Mile House alive and well, and making sure that all of our firefighters and RCMP officers and volunteers and workers in the government are getting the things that they need while they are fighting off this fire. Welcome, Dani.
Hi. So yeah, it's kind of just a little bit of background about me. In a really strange way, I've been preparing for this my whole life. So I just, yeah, thanks for actually getting me on, because yeah, this is big. This is really, really big.
It is big, and I think, I think
guess
one of the best things that we can do is share a story, right? And share the experience that we've had. So I'm really glad that you're here with me, and I want to hear all of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the situation right now, like, seems like it's pretty good, just so everybody can breathe a little bit on that front. I'm taking, this is a day off, I guess. I guess the interesting thing is that Mother Nature, now that we are in her, like we are literally consumed by her, she teaches you really quickly what a day off looks like to her. So yeah, today I'm trying to just kind of reflect on the last week so that I can process it actually, like, through my body and not have it affect me later. So that's the very, very first thing that I want people to know, is that if you are feeling in any way, even if you're not in 100 Mile or if you weren't evacuated, if you're feeling like this impacts you, talk about it with people, and just share about it. So again, thank you, Dee, for doing this.
Of course.
So do you want me to go back? Maybe I'll just go back kind of to the beginning.
Yeah,
I sort of have like a list of people and networks that just have been really amazing during this whole thing. And I think it kind of speaks to a story of what community is. Okay. So I guess on Friday, fire really broke out, and I volunteer with our local search and rescue team here in 100 Mile House. So as soon as I learned that our mandate as search and rescue is actually to go door to door and evacuate families, give them notice that it's time to evacuate, I realized I was going to be dropping everything and focusing on that. So that's where my focus really started. We started in the 108, and people were gone, and the people that were there were very cooperative, and yeah, just really, really open to information. A really important thing for us was how we were sharing it. We're not forcing people to leave, we're bringing them information. And then that's when it kind of hit for me that, okay, the most important thing right now, this is real, and it's going to be information. So it seemed like we kind of got into information mode. People are trying to find out what's going on, and information is just out there. But it was trying to collate that information into knowledge, that actual knowledge that people had on the ground, of what was happening. So,
I agree with
we
that,
had a
Dani.
friend.
To interrupt you for a second, one of the hardest things I think about this entire experience, especially during the experience of being on evacuation alert and then evacuation order, is almost not believing that it was true, and knowing that there's information floating around, but what is actual truth, and how can you have that true knowledge? And so I think that you going door to door and being the face of that truth, saying this is actually what's happening, this is how it works, this is the process, please follow this for your safety. I think that's so imperative and so beautiful.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, the biggest thing over the next 2 days, getting into, now we're evacuating a larger center of 100 Mile. we're on alert that we're going to do that before other people are. And you've got this kind of moral dilemma, like, who do I tell people? And it's like, no, we have to tell everybody at the same time. And then, we move through that process. So I just was trying to take in as much actual on the ground knowledge as possible in order to help people make decisions. Because, in a normal day, everybody's making decisions all the time. But in this situation, people were making decisions that were going to affect their life, like, significantly, and the lives of other people. Knowledge, getting the knowledge and knowing what was real was so, so important to me. I kept on with search and rescue, and was starting to try and figure out who's here, like, what are people doing, who's doing what. Suddenly your community is turned upside down. You've got foresters on fire lines, you've got office workers on moving stuff, you've got people from out of town who are now transport workers. Like, you don't know who is a resource. So then there's this phase of, okay, who is doing what. And so that was very stressful time, I think, for people. And a lot of people who were not necessarily right inside of town, it got to a point where people couldn't come into town. So I think those people start to feel like, well, what can I do? So there was a day of it was a somber day where people felt like, I'm not helping enough. And I felt the same way too. That there was a day where I was like, I'm just not helping enough. I wish I could do more.
And Dani, what's interesting about that is in a sense, because you're search and rescue, you had a role with this. You knew that there was a role for you to play. And I know that for myself and Michelle, who is also within Soulful Sisterhood and who I was spending my time with, we so badly wanted to support, but we didn't know how. We didn't have the tools or the resources or the skills or the connections to be able to give ourselves to this experience. And so I know that Michelle reached out to you just saying, what do you need? I know you're there. What's going on? What do you need? And trying to support as much as we could from the other end. Yeah. But it's this bizarre loss of, I want to do more. I want to give more. I want to help more because I don't understand what's going on. Yeah,
exactly. No. And that was my thought exactly. Was as soon as Michelle texted me, I was like, your role, yes, everybody has a role, and we're all upside down, right? We don't know what it is. And, she had decided to stay. And that was when she found her role, just being there, just being, doing what she does. She's a rock, right? So, a gem even. So it's been, it's been wild. And when we were basically kind of done with our role as search and rescue, we sort of have a very, very limited role at this point, other than being on standby. I kind of had to go back to my job. And
so bizarre.
It's just totally bizarre. So I'm taking a couple of days off just to if I do have to go back to work and be part of join Christine and be part of the effort, I need to get my head on straight.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I've been away from 100 Mile for 2 days now, and yesterday I assumed I would wake up and get on my computer and be working so hard. I had all these ideas and things I wanted to do. I hadn't worked for a week, and I was like a sloth. I couldn't move. I was exhausted. My body ached so bad. How are you feeling?
I sort of have that similar feeling today. I also run a business, so I had payroll. Like, folks need to get paid. Payroll's due on the 15th. There's no bank. So I sat down on my computer and I just started trying to do things, and it's slow. Like, it is slow. I'm just going to go with it for a couple days, and just it is what it is.
I think that's exactly it, is just to practice just being in it, that you don't have to be at this moment when you have this day off. You do not have to be anyone or anything. You don't have to be this person that's keeping it all together. You get to break down. You get to try to relax. And in that, I mean, the stress of what has just gone on for this past week all finds its way to come to head, to show you, this has been huge. And it still is huge.
You know, in a funny way, this is sort of like bring some humor to this. This morning when I got up and I went out to the little coffee shop to try and scrounge up some grub, which was delicious, by the way. That's Diane
Where
at
are
the
you right
Lone
now,
Rock.
Dani?
In Lone Butte, Diane at the Lone Rocks. She's got food and coffee and internet and people everywhere, and it's like a hub, and everyone's happy and healthy. And but anyways, I was sitting there and I was like, I feel like I'm at a music festival and I just woke up after, like, you know, one of those nights where there's just things happening everywhere, and I'm waking up and I'm going home. Right? I'm transitioning. So the whole thing is, it's like daily journeys, and then it's a weekly journey now we're moving into, it's going to be the month, and then it's going to be the year. This is going to change our town, and our town is also it's going to go through exactly what we all go through, because we're all people, and it's just it's a microcosm. So I think it's going to be important for those of us that do live here and the people in our networks, just to know that it's going to be we're basically going to be rebuilding our community, not rebuilding in the sense that it disappeared, but rebuilding in the sense that it's going to be different. There's now this shared experience that we can't unhave it.
I agree. And I think what's interesting is Michelle and I, when we spent quite a bit of time together, and knowing that there wasn't so much we could do for the fire now, in order for us to keep our spirits high and keep that magic flowing, we would look towards that time when we all come back together. And we envision Birch Avenue, which is kind of the central hub of downtown Hunter Mile House. We envision Birch Avenue with all the store doors open, lots of people up and down the street, music playing, food everywhere, people coming together as like a sense of a homecoming to Hunter Mile House, rebuilding that sense of community.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, just the volunteers in this whole thing have solidified something that I've known for a long time, is that how much money gets in the way. How much money, you know, we all need money. That's the way that we live. But when you take it away, there is so much humanity there. It's just incredible, like what people can accomplish. And when you have a job to do, and you do it out of 100% out of the service of your heart, like it's incredible. So our town has always had that, but to see people coming from, you know, down from Quesnel, Engine 31, they were the very, very first set of volunteer firefighters that were here, that were not from, 20 minutes out of town. And they hauled butt down the highway in a truck that's not supposed to go on the highway to get 100 mile, because our friend grew up here and those guys wanted to help, and they're still here. And they did what they needed to do, and it's been a week. And so just I'm looking
and Dani,
forward to the day when we can pat them on the back.
Of course. And with that, I find it so interesting, because you talk about volunteers coming together and being able to work from the goodness of your heart, and just to get the job done. And I think what's so amazing is Engine 31 and a lot of other volunteer firefighters did show up, and they are working tirelessly to put out this fire, to contain it, to make it go away. And you acknowledge that. And then you said, hey, I've got this home, I've got some beds, come sleep, shower, I'll get some food for you. Here are the things that you need. What else do you need? How can I support you? How can others support you? Who needs help?
Yeah, totally.
And that's important. We need that.
It is, yeah. And then there's a time now, it's starting to, hopefully 100 miles starting to be a little bit more under control, and we're gonna have to let those folks go and go back, and it will be hard. But there's going to be many other places in the province that need help, and it probably won't be those volunteers going. It will probably be professionals. And now that sort of the situation is sort of coming together and getting more organized, the professionals can come in and take over. So that will be challenging for us. I think that's going to be a tough time for our community. People are still going to be displaced, and it's going to be tough while they get that going.
What are your overall thoughts on the idea that British Columbia they stated, is in a state of emergency, province-wide emergency? What were your thoughts when you heard that?
those are words that I knew that I was going to hear one day. So I wasn't really surprised. But I did phone my dad right away. And what did he say? He said, "You can't control it." And he said, it's like anything with large government processes and things. It's just exactly the same as the wildfire. You can't control it. So on the one hand, you've got Mother Nature over here doing her thing, and then you've got government on this side doing its thing, and they're essentially at war with each other.
Yeah.
That's how I don't even want to involve myself in. That's how they've chosen to deal with fire in our ecosystem. It's a fight. So when my dad said you can't control it, just like the government, just like the wildfire, that's when I realized that it's sort of incumbent upon all of us as individuals to take care of ourselves and then take care of our friends, our family,
our people,
and our community.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about the state of emergency. I have a lot of thoughts about what we should be doing with wildfire, but we choose to fight it. Just an interesting perspective from the folks out at Canham Lake. Chief Mike Archie spoke to us at the town meeting, and he just reminded us that Mother Nature's cleaning up.
Yes. Yeah.
She's cleaning up.
So I grew up in Vancouver, and Vancouverites can tend to be a little focused on Vancouverites, and really just kind of almost a narrow-minded, I would say. And I don't mean that necessarily in a really negative way, but I was very focused on what was happening immediately around me. I didn't know much of what else was going on in the rest of British Columbia, because to me, the hub of British Columbia was Vancouver. That's where I was. That's what was going on. Because of that, I know that wildfires are incredibly common, but I had never experienced anything this large. I'd never experienced something like this impacting so many communities and impacting so many people. Can you just tell us a little bit about your thoughts on fire? I don't mean to push against any government or any other choices that we're making as a province, but I'm just curious about your opinion, because you are a tree planter and you work in the forest regularly, and you're a search and rescue volunteer, and I just want to hear more of your opinion on it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess I look at everything this way, but I look at everything as in terms of like a metaphor. And fire burns, and it needs air, and it needs earth to grow the trees, and it needs air to burn, and it needs water to be put out. So it's just part of the cycle. And there's a million ways that we can choose to deal with fire. And I think we're seeing that. You've got people that they didn't leave because they didn't decide to stay there. They didn't make their decision to stay at their home and defend from fire when we came and knocked on their door and told them to leave. They decided they were going to stay there when they moved there, because fire is part of it. And I know that was always true for my family too. We, at our house, we always had, it was the big project every year was to push back the brush and to do a little bit of burning where we could, and to try and cooperate with it and be ready for it. So yeah, I mean, I would never ever take anything away from the ability to fight fire. It obviously is the most important skill that we have as humans. But there's definitely, and it comes ebbs and flows with funding and all that kind of stuff, and the ways that we work with fire. We could be doing different things. I don't know.
Yeah,
Clinton works with, they have a bit of a community controlled burn program around there, and they do what they can with that. So yeah, I think it'll enter the sphere of consciousness, and especially having a new government in BC and all that, it'll enter, it'll percolate, and it will be what it will be. But yeah, it's there. again.
It's so interesting because I've always been the type to work in an office or to work on a computer and I spend time outside because I enjoy it, but not because I'm working, not because I'm putting my hands in the dirt on a regular basis. And I'm just starting to incorporate more of that into my life now by choice. And because of that, I know very little about the forest and how forest fire works and all of these things. And as Luke, my partner, and I were driving down to Vancouver from 100 Mile House just the other day, we were talking so much about it. And as we're driving, I looked around, and on either side of the highway is just dead tree after dead tree in amongst all of the forest. And I started to realize, wow, you're right. Mother Nature is cleaning up. She is slowly cleaning up everything that no longer needs to be there. That doesn't need to be a part of that ecosystem at that time. And it's time to replenish that and burn it down to the ground and rebirth. And from those ashes come new forests, come new vitality, come new resilience in the forest.
Yeah. And, traditionally in this area, I believe, I know for sure further west of here, more where it's a bit more grassy, controlled burning by First Nations was status quo. So yeah, it's sort of a choice to participate or to or to go against her. So fire it's a huge topic, and ecosystem based management is a huge topic. But hopefully people get curious about it, and yeah.
Or what types of groups we have working on this forest fire in 100 Mile House.
Okay, right on. Yeah, so I've got like a little bit of a list of people here. I don't really know. So obviously there's volunteer firefighters. They've come from all over BC. If you want to know who's out there, I put a post on my Facebook, so just have a look at that. I think there's something like 13 communities that showed up with their trucks and all their guys and gear.
Wow.
One in particular, just as a shout out, just to, because obviously you guys are the Soulful Sisterhood, so just a huge shout out to my friend Kirby, who I've known since grade 9, and she came down from Quesnel and came to be part. She's actually a former wildfire fighter, but now structural. So good on her for just getting on it and being down here. It's amazing.
And such a sweetheart. And then I met her in the parking lot, and she just gave me this massive hug, and she said, "Did you just drop off burgers for us?" Yeah. Thank you. We ate all of them.
Yeah, they scarfed those burgers, and so did Ian. Everyone said thank you. And then like search and rescue, he just also, again, so good friend Val, and also her little sidekick Stephanie Zimmerman. So Val Severn and Stephanie Zimmerman, amazing individuals, working tirelessly to whatever end that they can to help and support community. I know also we have a bunch of loggers, like some Meals.
Sorry.
Oh, hello.
Sorry, keep going.
Meals and Sons and Hinchies and TLC Logging, they're all building fire guards. Good old local boys out there, and they're still going on it. I know, I heard guys are still coming back to town to work on it. Let's see who else. Well, we've got Christine every day in there. Yeah, she's in there, and she's so positive, and she's so in the know about how it works and why it works, and she's just helping us all to trust that it's good. So keep up the good work, Christine.
Christine is amazing. She is one of our Soulful Sisterhood members, and my best friend. And I at first was a little confused because when we were evacuated on Friday, she said she was at work, and I said, "What do you mean you're at work?" And she said, "Well, I've already left my house. I'm at work." She didn't come to our base camp where we were all staying, I think, until like midnight that night. And she said, "Nah, I'm going back at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Are you kidding me?" Yeah. And she has been working 14-hour days every single day, and you're right, she doesn't complain. She's so positive. She knows exactly what she needs to do to keep people doing the things they need to do. She's kind of the behind the scenes organization of everything, doing everything that needs to be done. And it's Christine, we love you so much. Thank you for putting all of your energy into what you are doing. And even though sometimes it's frustrating because we want you right beside us, we are so grateful that you are who you are. So thank you.
Yeah, totally. RCMP, our local boys, I can't even say enough about these guys. They are amazing. Special shout out to one of the wives that I also work with. Her name's Krista. Krista and we kind of like had this little special mission trying to help the SPCA with animals around 103, 105, and just making sure they get water and everything, getting those people in there, getting the right people in. So I mean, thanks to Krista, that's amazing. And then I guess there's Diane at the Lone Rock. She's awesome. She's doing everything she can. I know also Gisela, she's working with ESS. My friend Liz working with ESS. These people are just like going. They're not stopping. They're just helping people get registered so that they can get the services that they need. Then a shout out to my little bro and his band, who's they're all like, how do we get deployed to the fire line? So everybody's helping, and even the people that are out of work, they want to help, they want to be a part of it. So that's what's happening now is people are just figuring out how they can really contribute in the next phase and clean up.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And so I think it was out in Cannon Lake, they hosted an S100 firefighting safety course. And I know Luke's little brother, Curtis, who's 16, went and did the course. And I saw him the other day before we left Hanamel, and he said, I'm ready. I got all the things that I need. I can go. They tell me to go to the fire line. I'm there in a second. And there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing. And there's so many people. I know a few that come to mind are Kimberly Vance and Vanessa Ooms and Cambria, that they have been working. Some of Vanessa and Cambria are in the 100-mile area working hard to get supplies and resources to 100 Mile, to the outlying areas. And Kimberly is in Kamloops, being that resource back and forth. And I know Michelle has been doing the same thing on Facebook. There's so much conversation and back and forth. How can we get supplies? Things like diapers and formula and fresh food and milk and different things that people just don't have access to because we don't have a town that's open. And the few small grocery stores that we have you've got thousands of people going to these grocery stores to get everything that they need and stocking up for the fear of what might not be available. So it's been amazing to watch people come together to really support each other. And I know that there's quite a few people that now live outside of town who grew up in 100 Mile, who are doing what they can through their businesses or through their communities, through their families, to support 100 Mile. And whether that's supplying financial aid or giving resources or just making sure that it's well known that 100 Mile is an amazing community to belong to, and they deserve the support.
Totally. The other two people that I'll give a shout out to are from Aduco. And so Ron and Angela, Ron is our executive director at Aduco, and he's just been working tirelessly, not only to make sure that he knows everything that he needs to know in order to help the group that was on course in the mountains at the time, to make sure that they were safe, and they were, but also to look forward and not just cancel everything. How does he keep programs going for those kids? So he's just been working tirelessly. Him and his staff, they're just amazing. And his wife,
that's amazing. Angela. And that's a great thing to point out, because this all happened the fire started on Thursday. Evacuation in the 108 was Friday. Evacuation in 100 Mile was Sunday. That following Monday, I work at the arena a few days a week, and I was to be hosting a kids summer camp. It was kids in the kitchen. Kids were going to be cooking and learning new recipes and having a great time all week long. On Sunday, we were evacuated. Of course, we can't host that camp because it's meant to be in town. So I think that's a beautiful thing that you mentioned, that yes, things are flipped upside down. Life is chaotic at the moment. However, how can we bring a sense of normalcy, especially for the kids? How can we allow them to still feel normal and be kids and have fun?
Exactly. Because as big as this is, it doesn't need to be traumatic for them. I remember big wildfires when I was a kid, and it just, it was kind of like a big camping adventure, right? So I'm really proud of them for carrying on and keeping going as best that they can. They're going to do the absolute best to get as many kids into whatever kind of a program they can create for them this summer. So that's nice. Good work, Ron, and to all of our board members, Heidi, who's tirelessly supporting, and Linda and Gurno and everybody who works in that community. So they're awesome.
I also just want to mention my two bosses, in a sense, at the arena, Josh and Laura. I know that when the evacuation happened on Friday from the 108, the two of them were sleeping at the arena. I think they both were, and they were working around the clock, because that was the curling rink and arena side by side. The curling rink was the ESS, the Emergency Social Services, where people could come and check in saying, I've evacuated my home, everyone is safe, we're good. So they check in there. We had 400 cots delivered to the arena for anyone who was displaced and had nowhere to go. I know that Josh and Laura were just there around the clock with anything that anyone could need. If there was information they could supply them with. We hosted live community talks basically in the arena before it was evacuated, where we had Al Richmond and Donna Barnett and the fire chief and all sorts of people coming in, giving as much knowledge and information as they could to try and keep down that like crazy chaos of, well, they said that this place is burning and this place is burning, what about my house? And to keep that down. And I think that's so important.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I had one more. Oh, my friends, the Browns, they're amazing. They've John's been cooking for us, and their family is just amazing. They had so many people at their house at one point. I was like, this is total mayhem, but it's so awesome. Like, I love it. Thank you guys.
That's beautiful. It is mayhem. It's mayhem where you create family, hey, where you have so many people, so many pets, so many children all in one place, and you're just there together, getting through it together.
Totally. Yeah.
Amazing. So where you are at
shout
right
out to
now,
my mom.
Of course. And you know what, even with that, shout out to my dad. I called him. So he was actually with me on Thursday. He came up to visit from Vancouver when the fire began, and we sat and watched the fire. We could see the flames when it was about 200 hectares. We were sitting at Watson Lake watching it grow, and he left that evening because it was getting quite chaotic in 100 Mile. And I've called him. He's called me about 7 times a day. Any update? Are you okay? What's going on? How can I help you?
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
So helpful.
Absolutely.
So Dani, where you're at right now, after this week has passed, knowing that we still have so far to go, knowing sort of insider information of what's been going on, being a part of search and rescue, being a part of supplying resources to all these people working on the front end, is there anything that you can share with those of us who are completely on the outskirts of just maybe some words of love or words of wisdom?
I guess hurry up and wait. That's what it is, right? It's but it's a good metaphor, and I'm one of those people. I want to help, and I'm gonna be in there, and I'm gonna be just doing it. But you hurry up, and then you wait, and while you're waiting, just enjoy it. That's just try and enjoy the people around you, and and don't worry that you're not helping. Just do what you can, and one day we'll be back in there, and we'll be supporting our businesses again, and we'll be supporting our people, and I hope that's wise.
No, it is. And to be honest, the way that I see that in a few other words is be patient and be present.
There you go.
Don't push. Don't say like, I need to get back home. I need to go deal with this. I need to do that. Be patient and be present. Be present to the people that you're surrounded by. Be present to all of the invites to go and stay with other people, because they know that of what you're going through. Totally. Be present to the fact that people are working behind the scenes and on the scenes saying, we are going to beat this. We can do this as a community. We've got it.
Totally.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dani, for joining me. It means so much to be able to hear a part of your story. And I think we probably could have spoken for a couple hours about the actual process of everything you've gone through. But it makes me very happy to know that you are having a day off today, whatever that means right now. And feel the feels and let it process through your body, because you've been through a tremendous amount of stress this past week. And as you said, it's not over yet, but thank you for everything that you were doing. Thank you for your kind heart. You really made sure that you looked after a lot of people. So thank you.
Yeah, again, and just to come full circle back to the beginning, for me, this is therapy. Thank you for talking with me, and just let my words pour out. That's cool. And then just to anybody out there, that if you know anybody, or if you hear people say things that are really, really heavy around this, just watch them. Just watch them. And If you need to get help, or if you're not sure, reach out to somebody and just keep that support, because this is a large event that will impact lots of people, really, in a lot of ways. Even just the moving, forget the fire part, the moving of people, that is so big and that is so traumatic. So yeah, just watch out for each other, watch out for your families, watch out for your networks. And if you're not sure, honestly, even just reach out to me. I know I've seen this kind of stuff before, and it's just, if you can share and tell your stories, you can process.
Beautiful. Thank you. We're going to end right there. Thank you so much, Dani, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you soon.
Cool.